name is Adam Khan. I'm the VP of Global Security Operations here at Barracuda XDR. I lead a security team that manages our customers for Barracuda. And we look at security threats, do 24/7, 365 monitoring for all cloud applications, endpoints, network, so on and so forth. Excited to be here. So ransomware is a malicious software that encrypts files on devices. And what it does is it hinders those files inaccessible, right? And attackers then demand a ransom from the victims to be able to restore those files back to its original state. Yeah, there's three major impacts that businesses have, right? There's tremendous financial damage when it comes from ransomware. There's also data loss and data exfiltration that occurs from ransomware. And lastly, that I've seen more and more is the reputational damage from ransomware with the customers that SMBs are managing and the vendors that they're connected with. So those are the three main factors I would say are the biggest impact when it comes to ransomware. I think that's a misnomer that a lot of organizations, especially the SMBs, feel, because they're a big target because the lack of talent that they have within their organization, right? When it comes to cybersecurity, there's over 4 million open jobs right now. And getting that talent, having those expertise in place, is not there. And couple that with the lack of security tools and the infrastructure when it comes to monitoring these assets is also not there. So SMBs are far more likely to get attacked from ransomware than a lot of the large organizations because of those two factors, right? Attackers can really get into and quickly execute attacks against SMBs because they know they manage multiple customers and their infrastructure is not as mature when it comes to security compared to the large enterprises. Oh, 100%. Yeah, the data proves it. There's overall, like when you look, the ransomware is over 30 billion. It's a business, right? Now you have ransomware as a service. So smaller organizations are obviously less sophisticated. They lack the manpower overall within the organization. And they're also handling a lot of the data that is critical, whether it's financial data or whether it's some intellectual property that they have from their own IP that they're managing. So they're just as a bigger target, just as a significant target for attackers. If anything, it's more incentivized for the attackers because they don't have to sit in an organization dormant trying to finally execute an attack because of the security measures that are there in enterprise infrastructure. SMBs, it makes it much easier for them to actually execute the attack because of those factors. No, I actually see the opposite. We've seen an increase when you look year over year from just the financial damage that's have occurred. It's grown to over 30 billion across the board. And then the trend is what's happening right now is what we call as double extortion, right? Attackers are not only extorting and getting ransom from the actual attack that they've executed, but they take that same data after an SMB actually decides to pay for it. They still leak that data on the dark web to be able to further gain, from that financial loss that SMBs occurred or executed. I think, yeah, that's a great question. So when it comes to awareness, right? Awareness of how to basically interact with the application that you're using on a day-to-day basis is one of the key factors. To be able to recognize, hey, certain aspects within an email, let's say, right? Something that's urgent, something that's asking you to take action quickly. Catch these things, being aware of what is happening, what is the person who's trying to engage with you asking, and being aware of those situations is key in preventing those. And then technology, as you said, comes right hand in hand with that to be able to protect the users against very sophisticated attacks that make things look legitimate, that that even when they're looking at the emails that is getting spoofed, it's legit, it's getting past all the security tools and everything like that. I don't think there's a silver bullet altogether, right? I think it's a proactive measure that we have to take as security practitioners, as businesses, right? You have to, for example, when you get a car, right, and you have to actually get insurance for that car, right? You don't anticipate you getting into that accident, but when this does happen, you are protected, right? You're some sort of safeguard under it. So I think it's the same sort of approach. We need to put mitigations across the board to be able to thwart those attacks, or when that attack does happen, to be able to come back quickly to an operational state without having any financial damage or reputational damage that can occur from these attacks. To me, it's very imperative from this, where to start is understanding what you have first, right? Asset inventory is a key pillar when it comes to protecting. You have to know what you have in your portfolio when it comes to your assets, like what are the hardwares that you're using, what is the software, or do you have cloud assets? Getting a full inventory of your infrastructure, right, that is supporting the business is key. Then what you do is you build concentric rings of security around it, right? You can implement a 24/7, 365 operations. I know that could be a costly endeavor for an SMB to do, but there's a lot of different vendors and partners out there that offer those type of services. Plus, on top of it, they'll even do management on some of the infrastructure and support like endpoint management and things like that. So this is the first two aspects. I would say it's critical. The third one is making sure that within the organization, whoever's managing IT is keeping up with the latest vulnerabilities and latest weaknesses within the software that they're utilizing to be able to patch these on a regular basis, right? It's an important factor because attackers actually utilize these to compromise systems all the time. They look to exploit these weaknesses. And within the organization, the fourth one would be to keep a password policy that's strong, coupled with a two-factor authentication, multi-factor authentication for every application that you're using. And number 5, I would say, is not the least, but actually having a backup across the board, offsite, all your critical data in case when you do get attacked and those mitigations fail, you're about to restore that data to come back to operational state in a very quickly and swift manner. So yeah, I think it's SMBs because they're so focused on growing their business, right? Security and managing IT are become two big, components of keeping that business operational at all times, and it becomes harder and harder, right? There's new technology coming out all the time, new vulnerabilities, new attacks from on the security side. So SMBs can really take advantage of a lot of managed service providers that are out there that are helping solve this exact problem, right? To be able to alleviate the pain from managing infrastructure, from managing security, to be able to offload those services so they could focus on what matters more to them is growing their business and becoming successful. So I would say that's a pretty significant factor, utilizing MSPs that are out there. Yeah, I think when it comes to security and attackers, they're just getting more and more sophisticated, right? We've all heard the evolution of AI and how AI is reshaping the world, from our day-to-day business operations to now you're seeing attackers started using AI to actually execute attacks. Everybody's heard of ChatGPT, but there's actually two other different variations that the attackers use. One is evil GPT and the other one is warm GPT. So these are utilized by attackers to actually, utilizing AI's vast knowledge base to be able to bypass a lot of the security measures that are out there. So we're at the infancy of this AI um, generation, right? And they're going to get more and more sophisticated, and it's important that SMBs protect themselves by utilizing a lot of the um, service providers that are out there to be able to protect their business from these types of attacks as we go forward. I think it's just I would say vigilance and just a general awareness that security should not be put on the back end, right? It is key to be aware. It's got to be part of your business operations. Like it's got to be top of mind, right? It's not you know if you're gonna attack, it's when you're gonna get attacked. Everybody is a target. SMBs are a major target here as well. So I think it's important to keep that in mind, and it's important to keep when you're doing, financial planning of your business. What do I need to spend on a certain, piece of software or whatever it is? Keep that in mind that you're keeping security and keeping the budget for security that's out there at top of mind when the business executives are making that decision.